हेलो हाय एंड वेलकम एवरीबॉडी। मैं हूँ आरजे ज़्यूस और हर बार की तरह आज भी हम जुड़े हैं वे डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स ऑफ रेडियो चिनार 90.4 FM। और दोस्तों आज इस सेशन में हम बात करने वाले हैं होम्योपैथी के बारे में, एक ऐसा साइंस जो सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम को ही नहीं बल्कि प्रॉब्लम के रूट कॉज को भी हील करता है। और विदाउट एनी फर्दर अडू लेट्स वेलकम डॉक्टर नायरा अहद वानी, MD होम्योपैथी। Dr. Naira, welcome to Radio Chinar 90.4 FM.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Pleasure is all of us. So, अगर हम होम्योपैथी की बात करें, so my first question will be what I'm curious to ask about is how was it from a student to MD homeopathy? How was the journey?
The journey was definitely not easy because homeopathy itself, it's like a challenge to choose such kind of profession, being from Kashmir especially, because people in Valley have no concept what homeopathy is. I would say I was lucky enough to get into this profession, and that too because homeopathy was never by choice. It was by chance, and it was like a golden chance for me. So I completed my graduation from homeopathic school in 2017 with my internship, and then 2020 I completed my doctorate of medicine in homeopathy. And with that, like every other intern, I too had plans to join allopathic school, to join the allopathic system of medicine. But luckily I got a chance to join the clinic of my mentor, Dr. Rajesh Sofat, who himself is a pioneer in homeopathy. So when I joined the clinic, I was absolutely fascinated with the results over there, because I saw the treatment, I saw the cure for the grave disease, like autoimmune diseases, genetic disorders, cancers, renal failures, and that actually brought transition in me, and my mind completely switched to homeopathy.
Okay, if we'll talk about homeopathy, everybody has been saying this, or it's a rumor that has been spread that homeopathy, it takes a lot of time to cure patients. Being as a doctor for homeopathy, how you see this, and what will be your reply to all those people or the people who are watching you right now?
When I came into homeopathy, I never saw this kind of thing happening, the slow thing, you know. But I would say this is an absolute myth and nothing else. Be it a chronic disease, be it an acute disease, homeopathic works, I mean, wonderfully. But I would like to emphasize on the thing like chronic diseases.
Yeah.
For example, we are dealing with a case of fibroid in the uterus. And we are assuring the patient that you don't have to go for the surgery, we will manage it with the medicines only.
Right.
But it's very obvious and natural thing that it's not possible to get rid of any growth inside your body within couple of days.
Right.
Definitely it will take months.
Right.
So this is actually the myth, you know, this is how the fact has got turned into myth.
If this is the myth, what's the reality?
The reality is homeopathy gives you complete cure from the disease. In acute disease, it works as faster as conventional mode, or I would say more faster than conventional mode of treatment. Whereas in acute disease, it takes proper time to heal, but it gives you complete cure.
So if we'll talk about Dr. Naira herself, so what kind of patients and what kind of cases you deal with?
I mostly deal with all type of chronic disease, say diabetes, thyroid, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, or any kind of chronic disease. With that, we have the treatment for behavioral disorders, especially in children, and other psychological issues, which is very common prevailing in the valley: anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorders.
So if we'll talk about female folks, like you said, like there have been cases about, we daily see or listen about the cases of PCODs in female folks, young women who deal with these kind of like circumstances on daily basis. So how you see, and as a doctor, what do you feel like, what's the crux, and why so much of cases are coming up related to PCODs in Kashmir?
The actual and the only cause is the girls, the females these days, the young girls, they are not accepting the femininity. They are escaping from it. Hence, we can see the change at the organic level, the change at the physical level. What is PCOD basically? For that you have to understand. That means the actual feminine traits are fading and you are moving toward the masculinity.
Okay. So, as a doctor, like what will be your suggestions for the women folks or the young ladies who are dealing or who are worried about their future, like every other woman is dealing with these PCODs nowadays? What will be your suggestion for them? Like, what will be precautionary measures one has to take as a woman to avoid such circumstances?
First of all, I would say PCD is not something which is threatening. It's totally curable, totally curable. So one important suggestion I would like to give them is that they should never make themselves dependent on medicines, on any medicine, either it's
Right.
allopathy, either it's Unani or it's homeopathy. Because nature has created the body very beautifully and very intelligently. So the body itself is very intelligent to combat any kind of disease, but provided that we have to provide it with the proper factors and circumstances, and it has the ability to heal itself. Like, I'm talking about the factors of lifestyle factors, proper diet, proper exercise, stress-free life.
Yeah, like talking about, you said that you deal with all kind of patients. There will be patients who are like full of citrus or who are dealing with citrus, or you treat like children with some behavioral issues. So what will be your cue? Like what's the best moment this far in your career, and how you deal these kind of patients, and how homeopathy works them how homeopathy works for them?
Speaking about psychological disorders or say behavioral disorders like
Right.
autism spectrum disorders or speech disorders or cases of MR, that's mental retardation, I would say homeopathy is like a hope for them. It's like parents, the patients are getting hope from homeopathy.
Right.
Because nobody, I think there are least percentage of people in the valley who actually knows that homeopathy has the capability to treat such kind of genetic disorders. So through your medium, I want to inform the listeners that they should give a try to this system, a beautiful system of healing, and let homeopathy heal them.
So as a doctor or as a MD for homeopathy, how you see homeopathy is different from other streams of medical profession?
Homeopathy is altogether different. Actually, I want to tell one thing. The origin of homeopathy, it has the homeopathy, the system of homeopathy was discovered in Germany by the person Dr. Hahnemann, who himself was basically an allopathic practitioner. And that time his mind got discontented with the prevailing system of medicine, and ultimately through his experimentation, studies, the discovery of this great science happened. So this system is altogether different because the approach is different, and the approach is altogether, it's totally based on psychology. For example, we have 10 patients of diabetes or thyroid or any behavioral disorder. So in homeopathy, there is no ready-made formula that the patient is coming up with the thyroid. We have to give time to the patient. We have to communicate. We have to understand. There's a counseling session with the patient for 2 to 3 hours. After understanding the individuality of the patient, individuality is one thing which on homeopathy lies. We have to individualize the patient and hence the medicine.
You have to know the patient to know the crux of the story, then the crux will be treated and the problem will be healed.
Problem will be gone forever.
It sounds nice. So in this world full of citrus, like there have been cases where people were losing their jobs because of the COVID and the lockdown that has happened, may never happen again. So how many of the citrus patients you have been dealing or who have visited you this far, and how homeopathy works for them?
I can say the psychological disorders, the cases of anxiety and depression, those were the cases that actually gave public recognition to my practice. Because I already mentioned that in Valley there was no concept.
Right.
But when the patient saw the results, saw the cure rate, that actually,
Brought them to
the homeopathy, and
Right.
that actually boosted my practice. So in homeopathy, especially in case of psychological disorders, say anxiety, say depression, we never make patient dependent on anti-anxiety pills. We have to understand the patient, what is the mental situation, what is bothering him, why he is sad, why he is not responding, why he wants to escape the reality. Because depression is what? The person has not enough courage to face the reality, hence into depression. So we have to understand the patient from internally, what's bothering him, and the medicines. This is important. The medicines in homeopathy act at dynamic level, and because of that dynamicity in the disease, in the medicine as well as in the disease, it's like in layman language we say the key for the lock. The key is the medicine, and we open the lock of the disease. That's how the medicine act, and the cure is achieved.
Dr. Naira, I would like to ask you a question that being as a doctor, what's the best case related to citrus? You have like dealt this far and you have like achieved a great success, which you feel is an achievement in self being as a doctor.
I think the cases of OCD, that is obsessive compulsive disorder,
Right.
where the patient is compelled to repeat the task, do the repetitive behavior.
Right.
So in conventional mode of system or in any psychological system, they have different ways, but that helps the patient to some extent, but that never actually help the patient to get rid of the
Yeah.
disease. Again, I would say here, it's because of the dynamicity in the medicines of homeopathy that actually helps the patient to come totally out of such disorders, be it the compulsive disorder, be it depression, be it anxiety.
So I hope next time whenever a person thinks about treatment, he will think about homeopathy, because it sounds great and it looks like a vast field, a vast thing to know and a best thing to know. So what will be your concluding message to the female folks who are watching you right now and the youth of the world who's connected to you right now via social media handles of Radio Chinar?
My message would be for the whole youth, not especially for the women folk, that don't rush to the medicine. Let the body heal you. Give
Right.
time to the medicines to act. Don't get impatient. Okay, if there is pain, obviously we need immediate relief. But when you are suffering from something deep, there is a deep pathology inside.
Right.
Something is deeply disturbing you inside. Give time, don't rush. And one more thing that they should do, health in aspect of health. And one more thing, because there must be some reason which lead the patient to the depression,
Right.
anxiety. For young folks, for the youth, I would say they should always follow their passion.
Right.
That will bring them the actual contentment.
Right. So if there are people who want to contact you, who want to connect to you, how they can and where they are supposed to visit?
Physically, they can reach me at my clinic, that's Holistic Healing at Paripura, Srinagar,
Right.
or they can contact me on Instagram at Holistic981.
So Naira, it was great to have you here. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
with us.
Thanks to you too.
तो दोस्तों अगली बार फिर से आपसे होगी मुलाकात with some another personality to inspire you to do more, to live more. Till we meet again, keep your heads high and walk tall. This is RJ Zeus signing off for today. Bye bye, tata and take care.